Am I the asshole for telling my best friend I don't want her boyfriend to come on my holiday vacation? My family and I go on Christmas vacation every year, and this year it's just my mom and I decided to invite my best friend to have someone to go out with since my old mama doesn't like to go out too late. My mom had paid for the hotels and we only had to pay for our flights. Since I invited my friend, she has started dating someone new who I have yet to hang out with and get to really know. Today she dropped the bomb on me that her boyfriend wants to come down for the second half of our trip so they can spend New Year's together. I totally understand that with a new crush, love, you want to be together and have special moments with, but I feel like I'm going to be turned into a third wheel on a vacation I invited her to be a part of. We are spending the first half in a quiet town in France and second half in Paris, where we've both talked about going to for a while, and we talked about going out to bars and clubs together once my mom goes back to the hotel in the evening. I feel kind of used that okay, you'll take the free hotel for the first half, but when we get to Paris you'll leave me for your boyfriend. Even if she did leave to go do stuff with her boyfriend, I'd feel awkward knowing we're both in a country we talked about visiting together for so long but not hanging with each other. When she asked today and I said I didn't feel comfortable, she seemed pissed and we kind of dropped the conversation. I just had a whole girl trip planned out and now feel like including someone I barely know is just gonna throw off the vibe. Am I an asshole to stick to my "no, he's not welcome" stance even if it causes a rift in our friendship? Not the asshole. You invited your friend, not a +1 you barely know. Your trip, your vibe. Third wheeling on your own vacation sounds miserable. Hey, I was looking for a fun girls trip with my bestie. I don't think being the third wheel at a night party will be much fun. I'll understand if you don't want to come. See what she decides, and if she chooses to stay home, ask a different friend to come. Not the asshole. The invitation was for your friend to accompany you and your mother on a Christmas holiday, not your friend and her +1. The ball's in her court. If she'd rather spend the break with her new boyfriend, she can stay home and you can invite someone who will appreciate the invitation. Her suggestion her paramour join was as ridiculous as it was inconsiderate. Not the asshole. It's rude for someone who is invited to turn around and try to invite someone else. If she wants to go on a trip with her new BF, they can pay for their own trip. Kind of an asshole move on her part though. Not the asshole. Tell her it's a girl's trip, not for her BF. Not the asshole. How tacky to invite him without even consulting you first and then have the goddamn audacity to be mad at you for saying no. If it causes a rift, that's a good thing. She needs to learn manners. Am I the asshole for ruining to my cousin's wedding? I'm going to try keep it brief because I genuinely feel like I'm being gaslit by everyone, but also maybe I'm not seeing my own role in this situation. In uni I had a very brief sort of relationship with a guy on my course. I ended it because I felt like I needed to learn independence. I've never lived on my own. My mom and dad coddled me and paid for my expenses, cooked for me, did my laundry, etc. He was looking to settle down and I really wasn't. I wanted to learn to be on my own for a bit and he wanted to marry someone he could take care of. We went our separate ways, finished uni, got jobs, etc. My cousin got married the other day. This guy the first was previously talking to attended with his wife. She also attended our uni and was on the same course. I wasn't really fussed by seeing them. They've clearly moved on and I'm loving life right now. Having that independence I've been wanting. It's all chill until his wife comes up to our table. She asked me why she didn't see me at graduation. For context, I didn't attend our graduation ceremony because both my grandmothers had passed away and it was their funeral. I didn't really care about missing graduation because I've got horrible social anxiety anyway, and the thought of being seen by that many people freaked me out. She asked about my career. I told her that I'm in teaching now and I love it. Small pleasantries, you get it. But she randomly veered the conversation in different direction. She's like, my husband doesn't care about you anymore. I wasn't bothered at all because over the few years since we were together, I started to see just how toxic he was. He was controlling and he wanted me to ask his permission before seeing my own friends. I was not looking to start an argument at my cousin's wedding, so I walked away from them and sat at my other cousin's table. IDK how, but she found me again at some other point of the reception and it got weird. She was saying things like, "You are so jealous of us. You skipped graduation because you didn't want to see us together." I didn't even know they were together. I didn't bother explaining myself. It would have been pointless as she'd already made up her mind about me. I just nodded along as she ranted to me. But as you'd expect, it started to take attention away from the wedding. I decided it would probably be best to go home, so I gave my gifts and left. But my cousin messaged me a few days later angry at me for starting fights at the wedding. I told her I wasn't looking for any fights and that girl had approached me every single time. But she told me it was my fault for leading him on in the first place. I explained it was very long time ago. I was only 19 at the time and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life, let alone commit to marrying a guy. Am I being dumb, or is this actually my fault? Did I ruin the wedding? There's more I want to include, but this post is limited. You didn't start the fight and you left so it wouldn't cause commotion at the wedding. NTA. Is your cousin friends though with other girl? Cause it seems like she's taking sides when she should be mad at the other girl for starting shit at her wedding. Not the asshole. What is wrong with these people? I'd be very firm with everyone who had something to say. I attended my cousin's weekend and my ex's new wife behaved like an unhinged lunatic following me around. It became so uncomfortable I had to leave because she was causing a scene. I have nothing to apologize for. Me thinks his wife protests too much. I'd put money down that you're the one who got away. I'd speak to your cousin and see what story she's spinning. My guess is she's saying you were following them around, and she was protecting her hubby. Sounds like neither your ex and wife nor your cousin were actually mature enough to get married. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Sounds like the new wife is insecure and taking it out on you. And your cousin is mad that she wasn't the center of attention as much as she wanted to be but can't easily take it out on the wife, so she's taking it out on you too. You've got some dramatic people in your life, but you're not the problem. Not the asshole. Based on what you've written, you realized that guy wasn't what you wanted and the relationship ended a long time ago. His wife is either very unhappy and or very insecure in her relationship and she's projecting, or he put her up to confronting you, or some combination of those three things. You did the right things in an awkward situation. You initially walked away, and when she attempted to continue the interaction and you realized it was drawing unwanted attention, you excused yourself and left the event. Any attention that was diverted from the bride and groom was entirely her fault, because she continuously tried to not only engage but escalate the situation. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Am I the asshole for hiding food from my roommate? I, 19F, lived with another girl in college. She consistently would eat my food and when I caught her said she would replace it, but never did. I finally got a mini fridge for my room and started labeling what I left in the kitchen. She was calling me petty and told our friends I made the apartment hostile. Really don't know how it was my fault. I just don't think I should be feeding the both of us. AITA for locking up my food? Most people are hostile with thieves. Plus I would be telling your friends that she is a thief. Ask them how they would deal with it or if they would bring free groceries around to feed both of them to make the place less hostile. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. What's petty is getting caught being a little piggy stealing food then crying to friends about it. Not the asshole. It's not your fault at all and you're doing the correct thing. What's even petty about this? The real petty thing is stealing food then crying about it with her friends. Not the asshole. In college, me and my roommate shared some food but would have sections in the fridge for whatever we wanted to keep to ourselves. Labeling and keeping the food you buy for yourself is normal. It's obvious she wants to just keep eating your food, which is what's really creating a hostile environment. Not the asshole, it's your food and your money. She's trying to embarrass you for no reason. You aren't responsible to feed her. Not the asshole. She got caught and feels petty. She probably got scared you would expose her so she put the blame on you. Am I the asshole for canceling a visit with my mom after she put being a landlord first? Situation is a bit complex emotionally, but maybe not legally. 2 years ago I have moved to a new city and began renting an apartment from my mom and her husband. They own a couple of units in a semi-popular city. They charged me market rent or slightly above market rent. It was not cheap, we signed a lease, whatever. After a year, it went to month. They were typical landlords to us in the sense that they ignored us half of the time, but we always paid rent on time, were good neighbors to the other tenants, etc. Additionally, I had helped them with their business multiple times for free, offering services that would probably have totaled up to 1,500. Plus helping them out with like house sitting, pet sitting, airport rides, etc. Things normal family members should do for one another. I got a job offer in another state, so we formally ended the lease and began to move out. A major complication during this is that my dog, originally my mom's, but the dog picked me as her person, went into congestive heart failure. This took an overwhelming toll on my mental health and financials. The dog is stable-ish now. My mom knows about this and how distraught I've been, and when moving, I told her I'm going to need my entire, or as much as I can get, deposit back to help with the bills from the dog and move. She agreed so long as the apartment was clean, which is fair. My partner and I with the help of a friend deep cleaned the apartment, aside from the walls which she told me not to worry about since she's going to repaint them regardless. She saw the apartment and agreed it was good to go and we're all settled. The issue came when they sent our deposit back and she went back on her word. They took $500 for cleaning and painting fees, even when they assured us they were not going to do that. When I asked her why, she accused me of not deep cleaning the house. I requested photos of what was needed to be clean, which she refused to provide, and why she still charged us for painting when she said not to worry about it. At first, she said those conversations never happened, and when I said proof of those conversations, her argument shifted to, "You're lucky we didn't change you more. You should be grateful it was only $500. She knows we needed that money for an upcoming surgery for my dog, left atrial decompression, and I was in total shock. She was supposed to come visit us in our new apartment in mid-September, but I ended up canceling the visit. She's always been kind of selfish and never there for me, but even this surprised me. She knows the depths of how hard we're struggling and still took the money when they're plenty wealthy. $500 is a lot of money, but it feels more than just the money for me. She went back on her word and put being a greedy landlord first over being my mom. Am I the asshole for canceling the visit over this? Not the asshole, and you should contact your local housing authority. Paint is generally considered wear and tear. She needs proof and an itemized list in most jurisdictions. Not the asshole. No wonder the dog chose you. They can spot an a-hole from a mile off. Not the asshole. As you said, your own mother put being a landlord first. My recommendation is get an itemized invoice which they legally have to provide in quotes, because even if she did pay to have it deep cleaned and repainted, it wouldn't have cost that much. Also, save the conversations where you talked about this in writing, since they do hold weight to an extent legally speaking. Not the asshole. Your mom putting your lease at market value says a lot about her as a person, and I'm not surprised it became a money problem. Some put money before people, and those kinds of people are not to be trusted. If she values money more than you, you're better off without her. Your mom isn't just being a landlord, she's being an asshole law-breaking landlord. Painting the apartment is the landlord's responsibility, not the tenant's. As long as you didn't cause damage to the apartment, you're entitled to your deposit back. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. From your description, this sounds like the behavior would be wrong from any landlord. Never mind about the landlord in question being your own mother. Maybe she thought that since she's your mother you'd be less likely than a typical tenant to fight back, get legal advice, etc. I suppose you probably don't have the money and bandwidth for this, but I think it would be awesome if you proved her wrong on that assumption.